My girlfriend threw a biting remark my way. Oh wow. So now the tough guy suddenly cares where I was until 4 in the morning? I stayed quiet, simply looking at her for a few seconds. Then, in an icy voice, I replied, not anymore. What she had no idea about was that I'd already spotted her location pinned at her ex's place, and I'd quietly put a plan into action. The locks on the apartment were swapped out before she even stirred that afternoon. I first encountered Veronica 3 years back at a rooftop gathering in Central Austin. Her laugh rang out across the whole area. Bold, carefree, impossible to ignore. Right away, I found her captivating. Within 2 months, we decided to share an apartment. It happened way too quickly. My sister Kate tried to caution me one Sunday over coffee, but I brushed it off. At 28, I was convinced I had love all figured out. That initial year felt magical. We'd prepare meals side by side during weekday evenings, head out on last-minute drives to San Antonio, and talk into the early hours about every topic under the sun. But during the second year, little cracks began appearing. She'd head out with her old college crowd and return around 2, reeking of bourbon and smoke. The nights out themselves didn't bother me. I've never been the possessive type, but whenever I'd ask something simple like, "How was everything?" she'd fire back, "You're not my dad, Derek." And I'd let it go because I couldn't stand the strain that came after every disagreement. Then came that Thursday evening. I woke around 3:30 a.m. and felt the other side of the mattress, empty and chilled. I grabbed my phone. 0 messages. No calls. I opened the location sharing feature we'd agreed on months earlier, after one of her friends had been stuck late in the city and she'd pushed for it as a safety measure. The small blue marker rested firmly on Maple Drive. I recognized the street immediately. Her former boyfriend Connor lived in a 2-unit house there with his housemate, close to the campus. I remained in the darkness, eyes fixed on that unmoving d. It stayed put for a solid 20 minutes. I hit refresh a couple of times, still the same spot. Eventually, I shut the app, set my phone to charge, and drifted back to sleep. Strangely calm about it. Deep down, I realized I'd been bracing for something like this for quite a while. Perhaps even longer than a year. The certainty brought an odd sense of relief. When I got up at 7, I messaged my landlord, Mr. Patel. We'd built a solid rapport over the years. I always paid on time, never caused issues. I explained that I'd misplaced my keys and needed the locks replaced right away, offering extra cash for urgent service. He replied almost instantly, promising a technician by midday. Next, I rang Kate. Got any spare boxes? She asked what was wrong. I said I'd explain later. Boxes or no boxes, Derek? It's 7 on a Friday. I knew the hour. After a brief pause, she answered, "Yes, I've got some." "How many?" "As many as you can manage." She pulled up 40 minutes later in her Subaru, trunk loaded with collapsed cardboard and rolls of tape, still wearing sleep clothes under a jacket. We spoke very little initially. She joined me in packing Veronica's belongings, dresses and tops from the wardrobe, toiletries that had claimed 2 full shelves in the bathroom, unread novels, and that absurd assortment of fragrant candles she kept purchasing yet never lit. We moved systematically through each space. While sealing a box of footwear, Kate asked, "Ready to fill me in?" She stayed over at Connor's last night. Kate froze with the tape in hand. "Her ex, Connor? That's him. You positive?" I showed her the map pin. She studied it, then met my eyes. "I'm sorry. Don't be. I'm okay." The locksmith showed up at 11:45, a man called Jimmy who worked efficiently without prying. New deadbolt, new knob, 3 fresh keys. By 12:30, all 22 boxes stood neatly piled in the main room. The locksmith showed up at 11:45, a man called Jimmy who worked efficiently without prying. New deadbolt, new knob, 3 fresh keys. By 12:30, all 22 boxes stood neatly piled in the main room, each marked clearly with a marker. Kate stepped back to take it in. "You're actually going through with it?" "I am." "Want me here when she arrives?" "No. I need to handle this solo." She wrapped me in a firm hug. "Phone me afterward, all right?" "I will." Veronica came through the door around 2, still in the previous night's dark dress, makeup smeared, shoes dangling from her fingers. She halted at the sight of the stacked boxes. "What in the world is going on?" I sat on the sofa, coffee cup still hot. "That's your belongings." "Derek, where were you last night?" Her expression transformed instantly. I watched it unfold. Bewilderment, then understanding, then full defense. I was at Lindsay's. We drank, and I slept over so I wouldn't drive. Try a different story. Pardon me. I took out my phone, launched the tracking app, and angled the display toward her. You were at Connor's until 4. The blood left her cheeks, then flooded back in fury. She let out a harsh, mocking laugh. Oh wow. So now the big man wants to know where I was until 4 a.m.? I placed the phone gently on the table and held her gaze for several beats. Not anymore. What's that supposed to mean? It means I no longer care where you went or why. I just need you to collect these boxes and go. You're acting crazy. Nothing took place, Veronica. I don't buy it. And frankly, whether you're being truthful or not doesn't change anything. I'm finished. She headed for the exit, likely expecting to make a grand exit and return once I'd cooled off. She jammed her key into the lock. It refused to budge. She twisted harder, still nothing. She spun toward me, truly stunned. You switched the locks? This is my place. My name's on the lease. You can't simply throw me out. Actually, I can. You're not listed on the lease. You never wanted to be, remember? Said it seemed too binding. Well, great job. Grab your things, or they'll end up curbside by evening. Tears filled her eyes. Derek, please. Give me a chance to explain. You had your opportunity. You chose to lie. I didn't sleep with him. I never asked whether you did. She gazed at me as though I were unrecognizable. Perhaps I was. I'd never turned this detached around her before. So that's the end? 3 years, and you're tossing me aside. You stayed overnight at your ex's and then lied about it. Yes, that's the end. She began to sob, genuine, messy tears streaking black down her face. It was a mistake. I'd been drinking, felt lost. He messaged about his dog passing away, so I went to support him. Stop. I don't need the tale. I don't need justifications. I need you to phone someone to assist with these boxes. Her hands trembled as she dialed Lindsay, the very friend she'd claimed to crash with. I caught Lindsay's puzzled greeting, then the dawning comprehension. Lindsay showed up half an hour later in workout gear and began carrying boxes wordlessly. Intelligent choice. Veronica kept pleading between loads. Can we discuss this properly next week after you've settled? No. You're acting heartless. I'm being straightforward. I love you. That nearly pierced me. Almost. If that were genuine, you wouldn't have chosen Connor's place. On her final trip, Lindsay held the candle box and gave me a gentle look. Not angry, just regretful. She truly does care, you know. Then she shouldn't have chosen his couch. Lindsay shifted the weight. Point taken. Once the door shut for good, the place felt vast and still. I remained seated for perhaps an hour, staring at the blank wall where our Cabo picture once hung. I'd removed it that morning. The tiny hole remained. Kate phoned near 5. How did things go? She's out. You all right? Yeah. Really? Probably still numb. It'll sink in. Eventually. Come for dinner? Brian's doing lasagna. No. I need time alone with it. Reach out anytime if you change your mind, Derek. Seriously. I know. Thanks, Kate. Update 1. Over that weekend, Veronica sent 47 messages. I counted out of sheer boredom. They swung wildly. Remorse 1 minute, blame the next. You never really trusted me anyway. Then shortly after, I should have expected you to blow this up. Followed by Connor means 0 to me. And why are you being like this? I replied once, Sunday evening. Please stop reaching out. She ignored it. Monday morning, Connor rang. I nearly let it go to voicemail, but something made me pick up. Derek, listen, I've got to say something. I'm not interested. Just hear me out for a second. Nothing went down. She arrived wasted around 1, upset about you too, and passed out on the sofa. That's all. I had no clue she was coming. Why didn't she simply tell me that? Silence stretched. Exactly, I continued. Even if your version is accurate, and I'm not saying I accept it, she understood how suspicious it appeared and opted to deceive rather than come clean. She's falling apart right now, man. Seriously, not my concern anymore, Connor. I ended the call and blocked him. That same week, I bumped into Veronica's mom, Patricia, in the supermarket. She'd always held me in high regard, claiming I was the first guy who treated her daughter properly. She reached out and touched my arm near the avocados. Veronica explained everything. I'm sorry, Derek. Thank you. She's with me temporarily. I believe she's starting to grasp how badly she messed up. I lifted another avocado, pressed it lightly. I hope she sorts herself out. Any possibility you two could reconcile? No, Patricia. I'm sorry. She gave a sad nod, eyes misty behind her lenses. You're a decent person. You deserve far more than what she offered. That moment nearly undid me, standing there with the woman who'd hosted me for 3 Thanksgivings. Update 2. 3 weeks on, I was at a downtown bar with colleagues, toasting a finished project, when Veronica entered alongside Connor. No hand-holding, but clearly together, sharing a laugh. She spotted me right away, her face paled. I turned back to my drink. Naturally, she approached. Derek, this isn't how it appears. I kept facing forward. You can live however you choose, Veronica. We're done. I just don't want you thinking. I don't think anything. I don't think of you anymore. A lie, but saying it felt liberating. Her quick gasp showed it struck home. Connor stepped up behind her, awkward in an ill-fitting shirt. Come on, V. Let's leave. She lingered another second, gaze burning into my profile, then walked away. My coworker Jared let out a low whistle. That's her, huh? Yep. You escaped a disaster, bro. You're way better off. Trust me, I know. 2 months post-split, I was genuinely alright. Better, really. I began jogging mornings before the office, dusted off my guitar after years of neglect, tried a handful of updates that fizzled but stayed civil. The apartment belonged to me alone now. I shifted the layout, purchased fresh bedding, added new wall pieces. Kate dropped by one Saturday with takeout Thai and beer. You look solid, she observed from the couch. I feel solid. Any second thoughts? I considered while twisting open a bottle. Not a single one. What if you'd attempted to fix it? I'd be paranoid every time she left. Still glancing at that location tracker at 3 a.m. That isn't partnership. That's captivity. I'd have built my own cage. She nodded, snagging a spring roll. You chose correctly. I know. You sound convinced. For the first time in ages, I'm certain about something. The final mention of Veronica came 4 months later. A friend, Daniel, noted that she and Connor had grown close, even cohabited, only for it to collapse dramatically after 2 months when he discovered her messaging another guy late at night. The parallel wasn't lost on me. I felt no triumph, no bitterness, just detachment, as if hearing about people from an old series I'd quit following. That evening, I permanently erased her contact. I should have done it sooner, but the act carried a finality I hadn't been prepared to face until then. The final connection severed. I rested more soundly that night than in ages. No anticipation of a message, a ring, a knock. No questions lingering, no anxiety, no glancing at maps. Pure quiet. And in that quiet came something resembling true calm. The following morning, I brewed coffee and sat on the balcony, watching dawn spread across the skyline. My phone remained pocketed, screen down on the table. For the first time in forever, nothing demanded checking. No one to question. No markers to follow. Just myself, the new day, and a life entirely mine once more. And it felt absolutely right.